China's People's Liberation Army, PLA, has launched massive, large-scale military drills encircling Taiwan in a dramatic escalation of ongoing tensions between Beijing and Taipei. The exercises, designed to simulate a full-scale invasion, involved multi-pronged attacks by air, land, and sea, sending a clear message in response to Taiwanese President Lai Ching-te's National Day speech, which Beijing has labeled as provocative and separatist.
For each provocation of independence, the actions of the People's Liberation Army will advance further until the Taiwan issue is completely resolved. The Taiwan issue is an internal affair of China that does not permit any person, force, or excuse for interference. Relevant parties should stop condoning and supporting independence and cease actions that undermine peace and stability in the Taiwan Strait. National reunification is an unstoppable historical event and an unshakable national righteousness.
A striking image released by Chinese state media showed a detailed map highlighting the extensive area of operations for the drills, demonstrating a full military encirclement around Taiwan. The map marks key positions of Chinese naval forces, missile installations, and air sorties, illustrating Beijing's strategy to blockade and isolate Taiwan in the event of war. Beijing's decision to mobilize its military stems from Lai's defiant stance against China, particularly his bold claim that China has no right to represent Taiwan. In his National Day speech, Lai reaffirmed Taiwan's sovereignty, declaring that the people of Taiwan must resist annexation or encroachment. Taiwan's government has long opposed China's demand to accept its One China policy, and the ongoing confrontation is raising concerns about the future stability of the Taiwan Strait.
We will uphold the democratic and free way of life for generations to come. This is the shared dream of Taiwan's 23 million people and the global democratic community. The more we persist, the stronger global democracy becomes.
In a massive show of military might, China's Eastern Theater Command launched a joint military exercise named Joint Sword 2024B, involving several of China's advanced military assets. Leading the exercise was the Liaoning aircraft carrier, which was accompanied by a fleet of warships and submarines. The drills featured the deployment of China's top fighter jets, including the J-15, J-16, and the J-20 stealth fighters, executing precise takeoff and landing operations from the Liaoning's deck, while the H-6K bombers simulated air-to-ground missile strikes. China's Air Force also conducted long-range strikes and blockade simulations using a fleet of KJ-500 AWACS planes and Y-20 transport aircraft, which enabled strategic air-to-ground operations and the rapid deployment of forces across Taiwan's defense perimeter. This maneuver marked a shift towards rapid mobilization capabilities, a core aspect of China's military strategy in potential cross-strait warfare. Taiwan's Mainland Affairs Council swiftly condemned the drills as blatant provocations that threaten regional stability. Taiwan's military responded by deploying warships and air defense units, closely monitoring Chinese movements. The Ministry of National Defense confirmed the presence of 25 Chinese warplanes, including J-16S and Su-30S, and 7 PLA Navy vessels operating near Taiwan's territorial waters.
This irrational and provocative military exercise by the Chinese Communist Party not only threatens security in the Taiwan Strait, but also undermines the Indo-Pacific region's peace and stability.
In addition to the drills, the Chinese Coast Guard began conducting aggressive patrols encircling Taiwan in a move that is seen as Beijing's attempt to enforce a quasi-blockade around the island. These naval operations further isolate Taiwan from the international community and demonstrate Beijing's increasing willingness to escalate militarily. China's rocket force played a key role in the exercises, with DF-21D carrier-killer missiles and DF-26 ballistic missiles deployed to simulate strikes on key Taiwanese military installations. The inclusion of these long-range ballistic missiles reflects China's anti-access/area denial strategy aimed at keeping US and allied forces away from the conflict zone in the event of war. The US 7th Fleet continued routine freedom of navigation operations in the South China Sea and the Taiwan Strait to counter China's aggressive behavior, sending a clear signal that Washington remains committed to regional security. The PLA's use of advanced surveillance assets, including BZK-005 drones, highlights China's emphasis on intelligence gathering and reconnaissance in the event of conflict. These drones were seen hovering over Taiwan's airspace during the drills, conducting surveillance of Taiwanese military movements. The PLA's YJ-18 anti-ship cruise missiles and CJ-10 land attack missiles were also deployed, demonstrating Beijing's ability to strike Taiwan's coastal defenses and inland targets. Analysts warn that the growing frequency and intensity of these drills underscore China's long-term military ambitions towards Taiwan. The exercises are seen as practice runs for a potential invasion, with China testing its ability to quickly blockade and cripple Taiwan's defenses in a matter of days. These actions coincide with President Xi Jinping's repeated declarations that reunification with Taiwan is inevitable and, if necessary, will be achieved by force. Taiwan's government, however, remains resolute. President Lai has consistently rejected Beijing's calls for reunification under communist rule, arguing that Taiwan's democratic values and sovereignty cannot be compromised. As tensions continue to rise, the island's military and political leadership are working to strengthen international alliances with key partners like the United States and Japan. The PLA's spokesperson Li Shi declared that these exercises serve as a powerful deterrent to Taiwanese independence forces. Beijing insists that any attempts to separate Taiwan from China will result in forceful reunification. The use of advanced military technologies, such as precision-guided missile strikes, drone surveillance, and hypersonic missile capabilities, highlights China's determination to dominate the region militarily and enforce its One China policy.